What is going on? Twitch chat and YouTube. Welcome. Vintage Challenge 115. I've got a little bit of a spicy meatball. I took Slasher's last 8 cast list and made it worse, which is, something that I like to do. So what I did was I took out the most flexible cards that were left in Slasher's list and I put in Hole Breachers. Everyone knows my favorite card. This card just a great Magic card. I'm sure it's gonna do us justice today. But yeah, so basically I wanted to play some Hull Breachers inside of 8cast. It's something that I've been talking to Slasher about for a little while, but I probably took it a little bit too far. And I threw all 4 Hull Breachers in the deck, as well as a Time Twister, and I was like, you know what? 1 Time Twister, no way to tutor it. We need more. So I'm also gonna play a Teferi's Puzzle Box, which locks the game out with a Hull Breacher, I think. But I don't know. I've never done it. I swear I played a video at one point where we played this combo, and I just never, ever got to do it. So we'll see what happens. I thought about Windfall, but that card is just basically unplayable on the draw. So I don't think Windfall is playable at all. You can probably unrestrict it. But yeah, so what I did is I took out, there was an Emery, a Seagate Wreckage, the 4th Flusterstorm, 2 Baubles, something and something, because I replaced the Bauble with a Mana Vault, but I somehow got rid of 6 cards for Hull Breacher Twister Box. Emery, Seagate, Baubles, a Flusterstorm. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is I am down on Baubles, so it may be harder to cast my Thought Monitors, but I did put in an extra Mana Vault, which will help me cast early Hull Breachers, so I think that was good. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So basically, I want to do the 8 cast thing, but I also want to just play some Hull Breachers for fun. I don't know why. It's just a sudden urge, I think. Sideboard is the exact same as Slasher sideboard, except I cut the Teferi's response for a 3rd Dismember, and I moved the Flusterstorm in for the Dispute. And yeah, and that's the whole thing. So it's a viable 8 cast list that we've made slightly weaker by playing Hull Breacher, Time Twister, Teferi's Puzzle Box. Ready, set, go. So going into this tournament, it's now round 1, and I did tell Slasher we're going to get no rotted very badly, and our round 1 opponent is the person who has been playing the 4 Collector Roof Stompy deck. So, hooray! We're just gonna die. They're gonna play turn 1 Collector Roof. It's gonna turn off our land, like I said in the beginning of this event, and we're going to die. But a little here, a little there. What's a vintage challenge if Justin isn't playing an absurd artifact deck and getting Collector Roofed out of his mind? Exactly. That's just not how this works, Slasher. No. So this is not dead because it can hit Force of Vigor, but whatever, man. All right, so if I can hit a Mox in here, I can play Soul Ring, Island, and hold open Hull Breacher or something. Oh. Hello. Hello there. Okay, so we can go Seat, Soul Ring, Lotus. Thank you, everybody, for the subs. I appreciate that. So we can go Seat, Soul Ring, Lotus. I have 3 artifacts. Cast Thought Cast without breaking my Lotus, and then obviously it breaks the Lotus for 2 mana, leaving us with 3 mana. And or we could just play Thought Monitor, right? Because we could have Seat, Soul Ring, Lotus. Monitor costs 4, and I have 5 mana. And then my Thought Cast will still cast for 2. So if I draw a Mox, if I draw any 0-drop artifact. Oh, geez, everybody's going off. Thank you, guys. I think I'm supposed to play this Thought Monitor here. to get a thing in play. The Hull Breacher shouldn't matter very much against mono green. I know this is not exactly mono green, but it's like a Green Stompy deck. Like, they have one Ancestral. It's probably their only draw spell. All right, okay. Oh my god. Thank you, everybody, for subbing. I appreciate that. I need to think. All right, so I think if I cast Hull Breacher, Hull Thought Monitor, like not even remotely correct. If I cast Thought Monitor, I'll have 1 blue left over, and if I draw a Moxen, I can cast Thoughtcast. I think that's better. I think getting a 2/2 flyer is good. Moxen? If they want to hit me with like a force, okay, I didn't hit a Moxen. It's pretty bad for me. Because now they slam a Collector Roof and I have no mana. But the good news is I'm only, you know, why am I playing this deck, Slasher? I'm so... I hate this game. Why am I here? Why am I here? Now I gave them a mana for their Collector Roof. And they have an Arc Power. This is so dumb. Why am I playing this deck? I can't even play a spell. They're gonna flip into a Trigon Predator and I'm dead. All right. I don't know. Why did I register this deck? I knew it was unplayable. I know I made it worse, but like it would still be dead, even if it wasn't worse. This is so fucking bad. This is gonna be a Trigon Predator and it's gonna kill my Thought Monitor. Why am I here? This is so stupid. I don't know what I'm doing. This is so dumb. I got conned again. This is so sad. To be fair, I'm pretty sure Pio would have also lost to this draw, but it's fine. I don't know. I just knew the minute I registered Seed of the Cyanod, I would play against 4 Collector Roof deck in round 1. Like, that's just how it works. It literally can't do that because it costs 2 mana. Like, okay, hold on. I have a plan. We will hopefully make them. They won't know. They won't know. They'll just hit yes, and they won't know. That's the new plan. New plan. All right, I need to hit a mana source though here. Moxen? Okay, that is technically a mana source. Is there any reason not to just play it now? No. My opponent has to accidentally hit yes. If my opponent doesn't accidentally hit yes, then I still think it's bad, but... I don't think there's any reason not to do this just now. Okay, I'm just gonna do it now. Please hit yes, please hit yes, please hit yes, please hit yes, please hit yes. Unlucky. They're too good. I can at least block the... I can block the Trigon Predator, you know? Small victories, right? Small victories. My Seed of the Cyanods are just lands that get blown up. I don't know why I thought any differently. I know Slasher's been saying, you know, Seed of the Cyanod taps for 2 mana. It actually taps for negative mana. It just gets blown up and dies. I actually think I'm not going to block because I don't really want them drawing off of Seat or off of Library. Maybe that's dumb. I don't know. I have no plays because my deck is completely unplayable. Yep. 2 of the 4 lands I've played this game have just been blown up and done nothing. So sure. I mean, they're at 12. I guess that's not nothing. I don't know. Like, what if they like have, I don't know, force fluster? Like what is? I just don't see what waiting does. What does waiting do? Oh, okay, cool. They have like all the only cards that are good in their deck. All right. Like I just don't see there's like I don't think there's any point. I can just have 6. Like maybe they have like mana drain. I don't know. Like they can have something, right? Just they're tapped out. I know it's gonna resolve. Might as well just cast it then. All right, so I can bring in Dismembers. Those are probably playable. Do I want to keep in Fluster for the just the Force of Vigor slasher? Like, is that where we're at in life? Teferi's Response isn't castable. I have no mana. Stop. You say Teferi's Response one more time, slasher. You get booted. That's it. All right, I'm gonna get rid of Bolus, Citadel, Narset, and I kind of want more needles, I guess. You can't time out Slasher. He's a mod. That's not how this works. I'm not remodding him every time somebody wants to time him out. It'll go so badly. All right, I'm gonna get rid of this puzzle box and this Karn, and I don't know, like a thought and a Hull Breacher. Perfect. Perfect. That's probably fine. All right, so what did we learn? We learned our deck can't function, and our opponent's deck is the best deck in the format. What a joke. I've lost to this stupid 4 Collector Roof anti-artifact green deck so many times. All right, this is a fucking baller hand. This hand does some things, let me tell you. I swear to God. Okay, mental misstepped. All right, Ancestral target myself. Okay. Vault. Key. Untap. They can obviously Vigor and Response here, which is looks like they're gonna do, but then I can go Island Twist, I guess. They got a Collector Roof off of their Once Upon a Time. So this was kind of bait, because I can just rebuild now. All right, I'm gonna Twist. I got all the same cards and a Force, I guess. So this is pretty decent, I would think. And they don't get to keep their Collector Roof. So that's nice. Time Twister? Okay, so I'm like historically very low on Time Twister, but I played I played a league with the Perfect Storm, which is DPS, but with Force of Wills. And Time Twister was like probably the best card in the entire deck. I've had a lot of success with Time Twisters recently. I don't really know why. Maybe it's just because there's less Pyroblast running around, but Time Twister's been really good for me. All right, so my opponent used a Strip Mine on the island, which means I have an Urza Saga, so they have to have another Force or another Wasteland, or else they're gonna die to Constructs. So that's good for Justin. They have a Vigor here. Okay, I mean I have a Vigor covered. I'm gonna just keep the Thought Monitor because I think it's better if I draw a blue source to play Thought Monitor than anything else. All right, see if they have another Wasteland. No Wasteland. Do you have a Collector Roof? I guess Collector Roof also kills me, but no Collector Roof. Do you have another Vigor? That's the last thing. This would be this is the third Vigor they cast this game. I don't know, man. Like, they pitched 3 Okos. Urza Saga, how is this card playable? It doesn't do anything. It just dies to Force of Vigor. It's crazy. All right, I need to hit blue source to win this game. Blue sources. Yeah, of course. Of course. Of course. All right, now they get to go land Collector Roof. No Collector Roof. That's a good thing for me. Still looking for that blue source. Man, I hate this deck so much. Leopold. This is such a bad deck. Okay, all right. We have some game. It's just so unplayable. Sure. Why not? I mean, I do think if we draw a blue source, we might still win. The card, like, the problem is not the cards I added, Slasher. The problem is the deck is core functionality is unplayably bad. It just can't ever beat a single piece of interaction. It folds completely. And my opponents played 6 pieces of interaction. All right. This is my blue source. Please. I hate this game. It's so fucking dumb. You just don't have enough lands in your deck. You don't have enough things that do things. It's just terrible. It's a completely unplayable deck. A Mana Gorger Hydra and a Gaia's Cradle. I'm losing to Allosaurus Shepherd Mana Gorger Hydra. Oh boy. All right. Blue source. Come on. I feel like any other Magic, like Slasher would have easily won this game because Slasher would have drawn blue source on this turn. My opponent doesn't even have spells. They're pumping Allosaurus Shepherd. Like, come on. I just need a blue source. Like, what is happening? I am the most unlucky Magic player, I swear. Blue! Come on! It's so fucking dumb. Come on. It's such a winnable game. It's such a winnable game. No. Come on. This doesn't even do anything. I've been scammed so bad. This deck doesn't function. What? I am dead because this costs 2 life to play. So if I dismember this becomes a 2/2 and kills me. If I dismember this is a 5/5 and kills me. So I am dead. You don't need to tell me I'm not dead. I just can't believe we drew just no blue sources for our ancestral Thought Monitor hand. I'm so unlucky. Are there no lands in this deck? This deck is so bad. Just, well, no matter what you do, chat, do not let anyone convince you to ever register 8cast. Ever. Like, I made a great addition to the deck, Time Twister, and it almost saved my deck, but it wasn't good enough, unfortunately. Okay, here we go. Round 2, Vintage Challenge. Time to get a hand with Teferi's Puzzle Box and nothing else that does anything. I mean, I have a Tinker. All I need is a Moxen to Tinker, so I'm just going to keep. I do have Hullbreacher Teferi, so my opponent's mulliganing to 5. There's a lot of good things happening here, so should be fine. So if you have a Hullbreacher in play, Puzzle Box locks them out. All right, Bazaar of Baghdad, I assume. Our hand can beat Bazaar of Baghdad. Oh, it's Urza Saga. Interesting. I thought for sure we were going to get Bazaar'd there. All right, I mean, this hand's good against Urza Saga. I just need another Moxen, really. Didn't hit a Moxen. So I think I'm just going to play Saga Pass. Accelerate us to extra mana. Might not even be making constructs, to be perfectly honest, because we have so many strong plays. Moxen plus land, so they have constructs. And they're holding up Fluster. I missed on, okay. So I'm gonna go Jet, top. Maybe that's risky because it opens me up to getting misstepped, but I think it's worth it for the acceleration. And now I can either hold open Hullbreacher or Tinker or make a construct. Actually, I have a top, so I should probably make them have a counter for Tinker, right? I do lose a mana that way, but I'm going to gain a mana next turn anyways. I should just make them have a counter, because if they don't have a counter, I probably win. So I think just making them have Fluster or Force here is correct, which they didn't. So I have a Citadel and a top, which should just be lethal, I would hope. It's not bad to have a Force. Yeah, okay, cool. I mean, as bad as this deck is, it is still a Tinker Citadel deck, so I don't know. I really don't not sure about how the risk reward of playing that top and having it be exposed to misstep is there. It's a little concerning, I would say. So we're up against another blue Saga deck. I think we would want to have a Dispute, but I don't know what else we want. Like, we could play another Fluster, but we could play like Fluster Dispute and that's it, maybe. Like, I think I like my Hullbreacher package in this matchup, so it's fine. Like, we don't need a Sphinx of the Steel Wind. That's pretty extra. And we don't need 2 Urzas, probably. It's probably not necessary. I don't know if we want a Hercules Recall. It kind of depends on what build they are. So I think I'm just going to leave the Hercules out for now. But I could see bringing in a single Hercules Recall, though we don't have a Merchant Scroll, so maybe it's not even that good. Like, obviously, I could take out Puzzle Box for a Hercules Recall, but I think of the matchups where we might want Puzzle Box, this doesn't seem like one that it's particularly bad in. So yeah, I have an Narset in my deck as well that Puzzle Box works with. The Narset is restricted, so Time Twister was fantastic in game round 1. Unfortunately, my luck is not very fantastic, and I went 10 cards without seeing a blue source after getting wastelanded. So oh well. How tilting is it to be my opponent? I feel really bad because, like, I just made them wait for, 8 minutes and they just get turn 2 tinkered. I guess that is kind of the life of a vintage player, right? No dress downs. This deck is not a good deck for Dress Down because you're playing your own Urza Saga and you're playing Hold Breacher, which it turns off, and you're playing Urza, which it kills the construct of, and you're playing Thought Monitor, which it turns off the draw to. So this is not a deck. This is a deck that would lose to Dress Down, not a deck that can play Dress Down. All right, so here I have Force Misstep. Like this is like a keep. I like keeping these kind of things against I don't know, against Tinker decks. Have an option. Have like Mental Misstep seems to be pretty powerful usually. Obviously, if I hit a blue source, I have an active Flusterstorm is great, and I have blue cards that pitch to Force of Will. I don't have Mox. I don't have Metalcraft or blue source right now, but my Saga can always turn into Metalcraft, so I think it's fine. I'm not super thrilled with this hand, but my opponent mulled to 6 on the play. I kind of like what this hand does. Like if my opponent cracks here and goes for Ancestral, it's pretty good for me. Unfortunately, I didn't really want to draw a Hull Breacher, but I would really have liked to draw a Sapphire, but I would have taken Island as well. I would definitely have played Island over Saga here. As long as I hit a Moxen, I can always, get Soul Ring and play this Opal and it'll be fine. Or I guess I could get Lotus and do some silly thing. Unfortunately, my opponent's going to have Saga and they're going to have bigger constructs than me, which could be problematic, so... Demonic Tutor. So this could get like Time Vault, I guess. Which would be bad. I think I'm just going to force this. I know old school thinking is not to counter the tutor, but to counter on the way back down. But there's like a lot of ways this goes badly for me, I think. So I feel okay about forcing here. Like, if they get Ancestral, obviously, I would not want to counter it. But I don't think they're going to get Ancestral from this board state. I would really like to hit Island here. Just so I have a Fluster. But I guess maybe Fluster is not that good because my opponent's probably holding up Saga. So I guess I really just want to see Moxen, maybe. I kind of want to see mana sources, to be honest. Okay, that's not bad. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to utilize... I think it makes sense to just play these both. Does it make sense to play these both? Sure, I don't know. Play around Trap, I guess. All right, so if my opponent actually holds up for Saga, it's probably good for me because it means I'm not dying. And then I have next turn I can get like a Soul Ring and I'll have Thoughtcast, Hull Breacher, Fluster, lots of cool things. Obviously, I didn't end up getting any constructs off this Saga, which is not unlucky because I just didn't have the mana, but it is unfortunate. They missed their land drop though. So this is really good for me because now I can just play the waiting game and I'm not worried. So let's draw, see what we draw. Now I feel like I'm going to get Flusterstormed, but this has to just get... I wonder if I'm supposed to get Sapphire on this. Just so I have double blue sources. So if I get Sapphire on this, then I can cast Thoughtcast. And I'll have 2 mana left. So if I hit a land, I can hold up Hull Breacher Fluster. I kind of like that. I probably want to use the Opal, though, because I can draw another Opal. And this doesn't get hit by Fluster because I have 2 open mana. And I hit a Seat. Awesome. All right, so we're cooking now. We're definitely cooking now. I'm going to hold open Hull Breacher, Fluster, Misstep for sure. I'm not too worried. Like, even if they have a Tinker, I have double Fluster. If they have a draw spell, I have a Hull Breacher. That was a good Thoughtcast, for sure. I think hitting a Seat there is among the top things for me to hit. I also think that the Saga Sapphire was a correct play as well. You could maybe go Saga Lotus, but I think that's like a high risk, high reward kind of play. They went Lotus, so I wonder what that means. I guess something I couldn't counter right now is an Urza, but they don't have like really the ability to utilize an Urza very well, so I don't think that's a big deal. Let's see what they do with this. Like, if they play an Urza here, it doesn't really matter very much to me. That's a lot of blue. That's a lot of mana. 4 mana. Yogg will. That's quite bad for me. They get a Lotus, a Saga, and a DT. Well, I guess they can't DT without using the Lotus again. If I fluster this, I guess I can just double fluster. If I fluster and they fluster back. I feel like I'm supposed to double fluster this. I can't, I obviously if they can pay for this here. But that's fine because if they pay, it means they can't counter the second fluster. Because the only way you're going to do that is with another fluster. And I think like Saga Lotus DT is enough off of this will that I want to fluster twice. And then I'm free to just do like thought monitor things on my turn. So I think it works out. I like how I played this game so far. It's nice that my opponent let me, you know, have all my Moxen and stuff instead of blowing it all up with Force of Vigors and stuff. Okay, all right. So what do you have follow up? No follow up? That's good. So this currently, that's a great draw. All right, this currently costs 3. I'm gonna just cast this. I think it's better because I have Force backup. I think it's better to just try to extend my lead with a Thought Monitor than it is to like. Yeah, that's fine. All right, they forced my Thought Monitor pitching Narset. They have 2 cards left. I now have Force, Misstep, and a Hull Breacher. I'm in great shape, I think. That's, yeah, I will just counter this. Okay. And then if it's a blue card, So I was gonna say if it was a blue card, I might hold my Hull Breacher and try to get them. I guess I can just hold open Force of Will as well, so it's probably reasonable. Time Walk. Okay. They only have 1 card in hand, so like if they ever draw an Ancestral, they're going to cast it, and I'm going to Breacher them. Now they can play Tinker. Should I just end of turn this Hull Breacher then? Yeah, probably. There shouldn't be anything that instant speed that I would get wrecked by besides Ancestral. I'm not sure, like, how patient my... Whoa. Trop? Am I actually playing against Oath? Am I playing against Combo Oath? Interesting. I like... That's such a sick draw. So they actually have hard cast negation up. I wonder if that's worth... I wonder if that's worth just passing. I think it is. I think there's no reason to cast this Ancestral right now. I'm in a winning board state. If my opponent's last card is like Oath and they've been holding it because they have no Forbidden Orchard, I want to be able to force the Oath. Yeah. So... like, I can get hit... if their last cards are Oath Fluster, it's pretty bad, obviously. But I think I like the way I played this. I think the way I played this was so good. Yeah, so I'm just going to cast Ancestral. And then I'm going to cast Thought Monitor. And then I'm going to cast Thought Monitor. And then, yeah, okay, good game. All right, well, our deck did not scam us this game. That is for sure. Yeah, it was a kind of a beating. Whole Breacher ended up not really mattering besides giving them an Oath target. I'm interested that they forced my Thought Monitor if their plan was to Oath of Druids. Like, if they were going to Oath of... Like, it's much better for them to hit the green source, cast Oath with Force backup, and, like, trigger it off Thought Monitor than it would be to, like, force my Thought Monitor. So I'm a little intrigued on why my opponent decided to counter my Thought Monitor. Maybe they didn't have an Oath at that point, but... Yeah. Anyways, we murdered them. We did the good murder. Okay, dope. Okay, here we are, round 3, Vintage Challenge up against fellow streamer Doomwake. If you haven't checked out Doomwake before, you should. Great modern streamer, but also been dabbling in Vintage now and then. I believe they're going to be playing Ravager Shops today, so this hand is... I mean, this hand wasn't good anyways, but I'm definitely going to mulligan. This hand is going to win the game. I'm going to force their first play and Tinker Citadel them. Yeah. If you haven't checked out Doomwake yet, you definitely should. One of the better Magic streamers on the platform. So yeah, this hand is like obviously the nut high against a workshop deck. You're just gonna counter their first play and Tinker Citadel with no land drop given. So I'm just gonna put away Thoughtcast, and I'm gonna... Am I gonna put away Thoughtcast? Yeah, I'm gonna put away Thoughtcast, and then I'm gonna put away Force of Will. And then I'll hold Force of Will Thoughtcast. I'll force their first play and go Lotus, Opal Sapphire, or Opal Lotus Sapphire, Tinker. And yeah, we win. I don't know what to say. I mean, I guess technically we could lose if our Citadel hits Flusterstorm on top. It's really bad for us. Our deck is also like not super good at using Citadel. Like we could hit Thought Monitor and take 7. I guess theoretically I shouldn't say we win because 8 cast is notoriously bad at using Citadel, and so there are definitely avenues in which case we will fizzle or brick. So I should knock on some wood or something, right? After this game, I need to make sure someone reminds me to go heat the oven so I can reheat the dinner from last night. Did you guys see the dinner from last night? The dinner from last night was a great creation. The burger. Cheesy Tex-Mex pork burger with caramelized onions that I caramelized in hot sauce. Like a spicy, spiced ketchup. And then potatoes. It was quite good, and I have another burger waiting for me, so... Yeah, my opponent could also have double tax pieces. If they have like Lotus, Workshop, Sphere. That would be pretty bad for me as well. I did tell Doom that I was going to be 5 minutes, and I was about 5 minutes off, so that's not too bad. But he might have gone and gotten a drink or something. All right, I'm going to go heat the oven then. Oh, he's playing Modern as well. Fair enough. I'm pretty pumped that we're 1 rank away from the top rank in GeoGuessr. This is like the perfect hand. You have Force of Will, so you can't actually lose the shops by having all artifact mana. I mean, you can. They can go, like, Chalice Sphere. But, like, you take that risk. You take the risk of them. Like, the percentage of hands where shops deploys 2 hate pieces on turn 1 is very small. The percentage of hands where they deploy 1 hate piece on turn 1 is very high. So you can usually just cover that with a Force of Will. And then obviously Tinker Citadel is insane. I guess I could technically Tinker Sphinx, but I don't know. It doesn't really seem good. I don't know if they're playing Serpents. Playing a Serpent. I don't really feel like I want to... I feel like just no land drop Citadel should usually win the game. So, like, obviously, 8-cast is liable to fail there, but I think it's fine. No worries, Mr. Devin. No worries. Yeah, you could like hit like double Thought Monitor or something as well, right? Like you could theoretically hit spells that cost too much. I wonder if I actually think I'm going to keep both. So if I don't have to force, I would rather keep 2 forces so I could have force. So I think I would rather actually keep forces. It's not like the end of the world to have. That is going to resolve. Okay, now it could get dicey. Now they could have double sphere. I can force that, but it just doesn't sound right to me. I think it makes sense to just... Okay, like this is fine, right? I don't care. Like, maybe I'll die, I guess, but... It's a good starter. Academy. That's kind of annoying, right? Well, I guess I could clear the top with a Narset by playing Academy. It's not actually good. I can play this Manifold Key and then use my Academy to play a Narset and clear the top. So I might as well just play this island. Karn. Karn's a good one. And now I'm bricked. Maybe I was supposed to... Maybe I should just play a Hull Breacher to block. I could actually stand up the Citadel to block as well. That should be fine, I think. Or I could just kill the... Yeah. The problem is I kill the Germ and there's 2 3/3s attack Karn. It's probably better to just play Narset and try to continue going off. I don't think we want to cast Time Twister right now. But next turn, maybe. Okay. Tinker Citadel. That was like a little dicier than I wanted it to be. I don't know. I felt like that was a little dicey, but maybe not. I guess I could kill Narset there, but anyways. What do I want to bring in? I want to bring in 4 Hercules Recall. Maybe I want to bring in Needle, and maybe I want to bring in Dismember. And then, so it's not a Teferi's Puzzle Box matchup. But I do think it's a Time Twister matchup. Obviously, we don't need Flusterstorm or Mental Misstep. Oh, I had a Narset. I don't know. I wanted to use the Hull Breacher. I did forget that I had a Narset, yeah. I don't know. I wanted to use the Hull Breacher. Maybe that was greedy, I guess. I kind of forgot I had an R set, to be perfectly honest. I don't really need an R set in this matchup. I kind of like the idea of having Hull Breacher and Time Twister in my deck. I mean, Hercules is just the single best card against Shops, and Shops is played a lot, so you play Hercules. Slasher, what do you think about the bringing in? Like, this seems like too many cards to bring in. Where like I don't feel like any cards that besides this are bad. Like maybe I could bring out like Thoughtcaster, Thought Monitor, or some Hull Breachers maybe, but like, do you actually want Dismember against Shops for Revoker? I guess. I mean, if Hull Breacher is still a 3/2 blocker, right? Yeah, I don't think it's bad. All right, I'm gonna do this. This looks fine, I guess. I've got Hercules, Saga, Seed. Yeah, I mean, this like is a little sus, but it's playable. It's definitely a little sus, but if I just go like, even if they play turn 1 Sphere, I can go Saga Jet, in which case I'll be able to make constructs. Well, my opponent's not on Null Rod. My opponent is playing Ravager, I believe, not Canister Shops. This hand's really bad against Wasteland, though. I'll tell you that much. Null Rod definitely exists, as does Collector Roof. My opponent has mulled to 5. Hey, this is not the most powerful hand. Obviously, my first hand was like leagues more powerful than this, but it's still, I think, passable. I wish Mindbreak Trap didn't exist. When I posted that Storm hand on Twitter, it was a mull of 5, and the 5 cards were Fetch, Vamp, DT, Yogwill, and Fetch, Vamp, DT, Yogwill, and what was the 4th card? Can't remember the fifth card. 5th card was something. And I just got Mindbreak Trap by my non-forcible opponent. I was like, this is the worst game ever. Ah, this is the one. This hand. Dark Ritual. Yeah. So you just like Ritual, Vamp for Lotus, DT for Probe into Lotus, Lotus Yogwill, Lotus Ritual, Vamp for Tendrils, Probe into Tendrils, Tendrils them. And I got Mindbreak Trapped. All right, what does Devin got on 5 cards here? Yeah, okay. It's an annoying one. You have a Sphere as well? Holy moly. Okay. Okay. They don't have, like, if they have a follow-up land, it's pretty good for them. Am I supposed to play a Saga? Even though it will fade away? Probably. So, yeah, because if they wasteland me, it's fine. Yeah, I guess I'll play a Saga. So if their card here is Moxen Land, this is a 5/5. It's pretty bad for me. But if I can get this Karn out via Saga, I might have a pretty big game. But it might be too slow. Maybe too slow. They did have Wasteland, and they're not going to Wasteland Saga now, because they're going to make a construct. This is not great for me. Do I just play another Saga? I think Yes. I think I'm going to dismember the first one so that they're incentivized to make a second one and not use their wasteland. Like, I think killing the first token here is going to make it so they don't use this wasteland. Like, obviously Hercules would deal with it, but if like my opponent doesn't use this wasteland and that or uses the wasteland, then I'm so far away from Hercules that it's really bad for me. So if I get a Lotus and I have 1 mana, 4 mana, 6 mana, Hercules, I would have to hit another mana source to play a Karn. Wait, unless I just get a Lotus and then 1 mana, 4 mana, 5 mana Karn kill their Chalice. They're not going to make a construct. That's really bad for me. I really needed them to make a construct here. Because this means that they're going to just like get mana, play something, and wasteland my Saga, probably. Yeah, okay. This is like yeah, okay. Fair. Oh, they have a second Saga. Wow, it's really bad. At least I'll get to Hercules at some point, I think. And that might be playable. Like, they are out of action here, so as long as they don't draw like another wasteland. Okay, well now this should be winning, right? Because if I can't get a Lotus, but I could get. So if I get a Soul Ring, I will have 1 extra. Yeah, Soul Ring should do it. And a Soul Ring won't get revoked because of their Soul Ring. So this just goes Hercules Karn. Yeah, because playing Karn is bad. So I'm just going to go Hercules you. If I had gotten a Mana Vault, I could have not played Mana Crypt. I probably should have played this in a different order so I don't run into Mindbreak Trap, but I don't have any needles to get anymore, right? Oh. Oh yeah, if they had just floated mana for Saga, that would have worked pretty well for them. Not great, but it would have worked okay for them, I think. So if yeah, I don't have anything to get here, so I just have to plus. It would have been pretty hard for them still, because they wouldn't have been able to use any artifact mana. So they would have only had 1 mana plus any drawn mana. But they would have at least been able to play like a couple artifacts out and attack Karn, and then, I mean, then I play Saga. Sorry, if I played Urza, and it's probably game, but yeah, this is why you play Hercules Recall. Basically, it's just the best card against Ravager. So, all right, here we go. Round 4 out of 6 in this vintage challenge. We're up against Jordan. I'm not sure what they're playing these days, but Sam plays turn 2 Narset, so I'm kind of down, I think. By turn 2 Narset, I mean like turn 1-ish Narset. Okay, so this looks like Tinker. If we draw a Saga, it's like really good because I can go, well, I can't go Saga Walk, but Fluster Storm's an interesting one as well because I can always go Vault, hold up Fluster. It's not unreasonable to get my Thought Cast going. Interesting. I wonder if it's better to Narset or to go Vault Fluster. Vault doesn't get me anywhere, but it does bring me closer to Thoughtcast and Thought Monitor. Narset resolving means they can't draw spells, and I can maybe hit a force. But it does expose me to Tinker pretty badly. I guess if they have Tinker plus Fluster, I would lose. And if I play my Time Vault, I could always play nothing and pass. That seems bad. I think I'm willing to risk it to play a Narset here. Okay, my Narset got forced pitching Dig. That's fine with me. Let's see if we get Tinkered or not. Brainstorm. Wouldn't have been able to fluster that because of Soul Ring, so nothing lost yet. I wonder if we're breaching. Tinker Breach, maybe? They did have a Dig Through Time, which you don't see in all lists. Dig Through Time is a card that frequently gets cut in various Tinker Shells. Unfortunately, I don't really have artifacts for my Thoughtcast Thought Monitor. It's not like I've drawn cards that I've replaced, so this is just what normally would have happened. Brainstorm? Did you find a land? They didn't find a land, and they Brainstorm locked themselves. That is interesting. So that's why they countered Narset, though. It's because they wanted to Brainstorm. Force is not a bad draw. I'm definitely going to deploy this Time Vault to get closer to a reasonable Thoughtcast. You do have to think a lot as the opponent about whether to counter this Time Vault or not, because if you don't counter this Time Vault and I have a Saga, it means you're on a 2-turn clock. I didn't have a Saga, but, you know, little here, little there. They obviously are Brainstorm locked right now, so they have one more card on top that they know about. I have a Force and a Fluster, so I like where we're at. I just want to find another artifact to play Thoughtcast. I might be able to just cast a Thoughtcast here as a divination. I lose my ability to Fluster, but my Fluster's not even great, and I have all these forces, so this could be a little greedy, but they're still Brainstorm locked, so I think it's a decent time to do so. Okay, I guess they could play Hull Reacher here, but I'm very covered against that. Wow, that worked out only very well, huh? So now my Thought Monitor I could cast, but I think I would rather just hold open Fluster Force with a bunch of extra mana, and then next turn we can play Thought Monitor. This is what? End of turn what? What could this be? Oh, Brain Freeze targeting themselves. Okay, so they are on Breach. That makes sense. So they're going to clear their top card that they brainstormed into. I just think it's like kind of bad to use the Vault that way. So they're on 4-color Breach deck, it looks like, because I see a Tundra. They did mill over a Breach, and they milled over some Sagas. Blue is a Mentor, so Teferi. I definitely don't want a Teferi. The biggest problem here is I guess I can just pitch Fluster, because if they have Force backup for this, oh, they might have milled Volcanic. It might have just gone in the wrong order. I think I'm just going to pitch Fluster. If they have Force backup, it's pretty bad for me, but at least I have a creature. Whereas if I play a Thought Monitor, I can draw into more blue cards for my Force of Will. I don't know. I think it's fine to go this way. I don't think it's a big deal. I think I would rather have a Force than a Fluster against my opponent's current board. Like, a Fluster's not going to counter a Breach, which kills me, probably. Interesting. I have Hardcast Force now. Oh, I hit Vault Key. All right, so that's a win. Force backup for this key as well if they have a misstep. It certainly is important to counter the Narset so that my Thought Monitor can go off, but I don't know. All right, so we're probably playing against 4-color Breach. Did I see a Lurrus? No, there was a Soul Ring, right? So it's 4-color Tinker Breach, probably. which means I'm actually okay with this, like, Hull Breacher. I'm maybe Time Twister not as good, but yo, thanks for the prime, I appreciate it. Could bring in this cage or some lanterns. Could bring in lanterns. Those are pretty reasonable. And could bring in cage as well. I'm not as big on cage. I think lantern makes more sense. We could bring in fluster and dispute. But what's bad? Like, what are we taking out is my biggest problem. We don't really need a needle. Don't really need a sphinx. Like, this is one of the bigger problems I had. By adding 4 Hull Breachers, which I very much want to keep in against, like, these blue decks, I, like, mess up my sideboard my sideboard math. Like, I have all of these cards that I want to bring in and nothing to take out, right? I don't know what to do, though. I do think I want Soul Glide Lanterns, but I could see not wanting Flusterstorm Dispute. Like, my opponent's main thing to counter is Breach, which, I mean, Dispute technically counters Breach somewhat, but Fluster doesn't really. Maybe I just, like, take out one of the grindier cards, and I just go 3 Lanterns to give me some extra game against Breach, and then the rest of my deck is pretty good anyways, so it's probably fine. It's possible you do just want to play the other 2 counter spells because of Tinker as their alternate win plan. I guess they have Saga as an alternate plan for Breach, and wow. Yeah, I mean, this is a risky hand, but it's definitely a keeper. Probably go Seek, Crypt, Time Walk, Ancestral. See what we hit. Yeah, it's a bit more all in than PO. But it has a little bit more power than PO does. You basically like expose yourself to additional hate pieces, but add a bunch of power instead for our normal deck. Okay, so I'm getting my Saga Mooned. It's pretty bad. So I just lost my Saga, which was going to be my game, my other plan here. If I play the Saga, it will not be a land with tap, make any color mana. It will just die, which is unfortunate, obviously. It's actually just better in Tinker Mirrors because you go faster and do more powerful things and have more redundancy. It's better against blue decks and worse against like Collector Roof, basically. So I think I want to hit a blue source here on this Time Walk so that I can go blue source Mana Crypt, Urza, Ancestral, which I didn't do. But I can at least play Thoughtcast, which they're less likely to counter than Ancestral. And maybe that way I can hit another blue source. I guess maybe I shouldn't play this and I should... okay, well, now we're going off. I think I would rather play Thought Monitor than Ancestral. I guess I didn't need to use 2 mana, so I probably should have used Pearl. An Opal would be nice. Oh, Lantern's like pretty reasonable as well. So now I can't die to like a crazy Breach kill. All right, I mean, I'm like super far ahead, right? Like this is the kind of the power of Thoughtcast is if my opponent's not countering what I'm doing, like I just went off. Like a PO deck may have been able to do a similar thing, but it would have been all in on the PO spell, whereas this was just like, well, you don't really want to counter Thoughtcast. Well, you don't really want to counter Thought Monitor. These are just little divinations, right? So it's just like it's very good against these kind of like mid-rangey Tinker decks. Obviously, this is a Breach deck, but any thoughts on running Coveted Jewel and PO in 8 cast and making it 16 cast? I mean, there's a couple of Coveted Jewel like PO decks, couple Coveted Jewel, Seed of the Cyanod decks. Like, there's a lot of cool things going on. They chose to shuffle, which is probably a good sign. They do have 6 cards in their hand, so they have, I'm sure they have options, but we are just like going to overwhelm them with cards here. If we can draw another blue source, we can just play Urza, and even if it gets countered or pyroblasted or whatever, it's not a huge deal. But if we don't, then I'm just gonna play more blue spells. Thought Monitor. Will you pyroblast this? No. Draw. Oh god, they're so dead. Okay. I mean, if they have trap, they have trap. So I'm just gonna play everything to get max mana, and they're going to die. I have an Urza. I have an Ancestral. Imagine they had a Force of Negation this whole time, and that's why they couldn't counter all of these things. That'd be pretty funny. Okay, you have a Swords on my Urza. I don't think I'm going to allow that. My opponent's deck is far too fair, I think, to beat my deck. Even if they are a Pyroblast deck, if they don't cast any Pyroblast, that advantage doesn't really help them. Incredible. All right, well. I guess we'll just get a Citadel. Take 5. Okay. Whee! Hey! We did the thing. It didn't really matter, but we did do the thing. God. Well, as long as we continue to play against blue decks or Ravager decks, I think we should be in a good spot. As long as we can dodge Collector Roof, this deck does do powerful things, so. All right, here we are in the 5th out of 6 rounds. We're playing against Javier Dominguez, who last top 8'd, just last weekend with a Rug Control deck featuring 2 main deck Energy Fluxes. No main deck Pyroblast, but a bunch of Pyroblasts outside of the board, along with at least a single Dak Faden and 3 Collector Oofs. So I would put this as a rough matchup and a very powerful wizard, so let's see what we can do here. We do need to win this match and our next match. This is a very unfortunate hand, because if it had an island or any kind of blue mana source, we would be just rolling. It's so close to keepable, but obviously no blue mana, no keep. Try again. This one also doesn't have blue mana, but has a top. So unfortunately, if I go top spin and I find... It's not an unkeepable hand, because I can go top spin and I have fairly powerful plays, but I think I'd rather just go to 5. Yeah, this seems like where we're keeping. I'm going to get rid of Thoughtcast and Misstep and hope we can twist, I guess. They don't have Pyroblast, so it's not unreasonable that we could twist. I think it's not unreasonable to keep the 6 and Ship Needle. Something I was definitely considering. Do they have any main deck Vigors? No. They have main deck Flux. Oh no. Oh no. That's a turn 1 Black Lotus for Collector Roof. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This deck just can't beat Collector Roof, right? They should play 2 Collector Roofs. Okay, Tarmogoyf is beatable. Tarmogoyf is beatable. Fix my cam? What's wrong with my cam? I don't understand. I don't see anything wrong. I need to hit a Moxen. That is not good. Yeah. I mean, this game is still playable. I think if I hit a Mox in here, I might be able to go Breach or Twist. Or land. Okay, this is like really good one, right? So this is going to let me... All right, I think I'm going to wait. And I'm going to play a Hull Breacher and then Twist, because I think it's going to give me the highest chance of winning. I'm 1 mana short of doing that all on the last turn, but this way I can actually play around Fluster, which is pretty good. I think I could win this game. It's definitely possible. There are no lands in the yard, so the death rate actually doesn't do very much. If it attacks, I probably try to block. Don't see any reason why not to. Okay, we got the Deathrite Shaman. And a pass, and I beat Fluster right now, so this is a winnable game. I am at 13 with a mana crit flipping, and I did lose my flip. I don't think I'm going to wait. I think I'm going to jam. Oh, baby. All right, so their hand is gone. I have infinite mana. All right, the game is over. The game is just over. Wow. What a huge win. Holy crap. I mean, they kept Lotus Oof, and it was going to be very good. I can't believe we won that. Hull Breacher is just broken magic card. Slaughter, I made your deck better, I swear. Wow. I mean, we're going to need that because my opponent, like I said, 2 Fluxes in the main, 2 Okos, 1 Dak, 3 Oof, boarding in an Alpine Moon and 3 Pyroblast and a 3rd Energy Flux. Holy heck. Okay. So we probably need to bring in Dismember for Collector Oof. And then... and then I don't think we need a Karn. And I think I definitely want to keep a Sphinx. I don't think we really need a Needle. I know they can hit me with Wasteland, but I think that's not really the axis we want to fight on. And then... maybe... Yeah... Dispute actually hits Flux, which makes it pretty good. I think I'm going to take out Puzzle Box because it costs so much mana and doesn't do a lot of things. And then I think I might take out, like... I might take out... like a Thought Monitor. This matchup's so hard. We're so lucky we won that game. All right, let's do it again. High roll, baby. High roll, baby. It's kind of unfortunate that I cut the second dispute because I actually think I would probably play 2 disputes to beat the Fluxes. This hand plays... This hand, yeah, I probably keep this hand. It's nice that my opponent can't have enough green cards to play Vigor, but it's bad because my opponent has Fluxes. Is this just turn 1 Flux or is it turn 1 Oof? Turn 1 Oof. Okay, fair. Oof Wasteland. Oof Wasteland Library is quite brutal. What about Negation? They are playing 1 Negation. I think the upside here of being able to cast Thoughtcast makes it so I do want to play Dismember. Dismember. Hopefully this resolves. Nah, they had Force. So their keep was Lotus Force Library. I mean, that's a pretty unbeatable. I'm not gonna play these out in case they play follow-up. In case they play follow-up Flux. And I want to be able to cast this Thoughtcast. I actually thought we had some game there because I thought Dismember might free us, but didn't happen. So another land. So I'm actually 1 mana short of Thought Casting, so I think I'm gonna just wait. Yeah, I mean, this is the problem with 8 cast, is the deck just can't beat a Collector Roof. So I mean, we signed up for this. If they play an Energy Flux, it gets very difficult for us. Okay, so I will play that because that will let me Thought Cast next turn. Okay, fair enough. So if I draw Dismember, I could win. If I draw Dismember right now, I could win because I could go Mox, Time Vault, Infinite. So I would take a land that makes mana or a Dismember. That isn't a land that makes mana. I fucking hate Urza Saga so much. This card is so bad. Maybe they'll fuck up. They fucked up. All they had to do was wasteland this on the stack. Now it does make mana. I mean, if all they had to do was wasteland with the trigger on the stack and it didn't make any mana. All right, I'm going to just rebuy looking for my Dismember. Like, I shouldn't have gotten this Time Walk, but Javier missed it. All right, Dismember wins this game probably. Dismember. Dismember. Thought Monitor. 1, 2, 3, 4. I do want it because it blocks, but I'm short. But I guess I can't cast Thought Cast. What am I talking about? I'm not going to draw any cards. Ay. Wait, so is my opponent not on Rug? They're just on Bug? So they're not on main deck Energy Flux, right? So they're not playing Rug anymore. They're playing Bug. Bug is also a really bad matchup. But it's good that I'm probably not getting Flux as hard. All right, cool. Dope. Yeah. I mean, this is just my opponent's hand of Black Lotus, Collector Roof, Force Library is going to probably beat every 8-cast draw you can think of. So, all right. So my opponent is probably not on like as many Energy Fluxes. They're probably on Yama's Bug deck. Let me go look at Yama's Bug deck real quick as well. Yama's Bug deck is 3 Oof, 2 Leovold, 3 Oko, a Vigor, and 1 Flux, and 3 more Vigors. Holy moly. Okay. In that case, I'm going to take out Citadel and only go for Sphinx. And I'm going to bring back in my Thought Monitor. Yeah, they don't have Pyro is a good plus. And then I probably, if they're playing 4 Fluster or 4 Vigor, I have to definitely play 4 Fluster. In which case, and they're also going to be on more creatures. I'm going to take out the Narset. So I'm going to do this. If I Tinker, I want to play a Sphinx because they shouldn't be able to beat a Sphinx. I don't believe. Oh, there's a Brazen Borrower in the board. So they might bring in the Brazen Borrower to beat Sphinx. But now we're on the play. Can I see something broken? That's pretty broken. So I think what we do is we bait. We don't want our Saga to get Vigored. So the way we should do this is go Opal, Jet, Soul Ring. And then they could hit my opal and my jet, but that's like the least bad outcome. I could have played an island to play around this, but I think playing Saga is so much more important. It really puts the pressure on them. So now I have Saga mana, Hull Breacher mana, and Opal mana, and they definitely have Vigor, it looks like, because there's no reason you would pause on this without Vigor. So then I can just do this. So I played this a nice sequence. I think I sequenced this very well. So now they have to have a Wasteland for my Saga, or they're going to be in trouble. Or they could have a second Vigor on my next turn. Okay, so they had the Wasteland for my Saga. It's pretty good. All right, well, I have a Hull Breacher. Hopefully it's good enough. I kind of think I might have been supposed to bring back into Fairy's Puzzle Box, but whoa, wow, that's interesting. They have a Mystic Sanctuary. Are they more of a Xeroxy? I missed on my Twister there. Getting a little flooded here, but I do say I have a bunch of basics. What do you got for me? Collector Roof? Okay. Thoughtcast is still good here. Should play around Days, I guess. Should I play around Days? And the upside is I can get a Saga and play it. I think that's too high upside. I don't think playing around Days is good here. If I draw Saga, I need to play it in this turn, I think. Okay. That's a good one. That's a really good one. If I can hit another land. I don't think I'm going to trade Hull Breacher for... Well, I guess I could have traded Hull Breacher for Collector Roof. And played a Saga. I played an Urza. God, they play a Leovold? Oh, they have Flux. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to let this all go, I guess. I don't think they're on Yama's list because there's a Mystic Sanctuary. So it's it's a different list. That's really bad for me. It's really hard to play through Flux. I don't think I'm supposed to save anything here. Well, Flux wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't Flux plus Collector Oof. Okay, that's playable. It's going to be hard, but I have 3 basics. Okay, they have a Force as well. So they had Force, Collector Roof, Energy Flux. All right, I mean, we still have a Saga going. Maybe we can still win. I guess I would... they have 1 card left. They don't win the race, so they can't attack me. I'm going to hold that for a later Thoughtcast. I think just letting them not have a draw spell is good. It's such a good draw. Wait, it's not. It's such a bad draw because I have a Hull Breacher. Normally that would be an incredible draw, but I have a Hull Breacher, so it's not a good draw. That's interesting. So I think it makes sense to make a construct and then pay for it. Can I Vault Key through a Flux? No, I can't, right? Well, how many turns can I take? So if I get... I can take in a turn right now. And then... Oh, I can't take anything because I have a Collector Roof. Never mind. Never mind. All right, so this is probably getting me nothing of value. Or it'll give something to pump my construct, but not really good. I guess maybe I should have tried to trade off Collector Oof. So what do I do with this? I can't even play 2 taxes unless I like play my Opal, which I may. 1, 2. I will get to play Thoughtcast, though. It's pretty good. Opal actually taps for a single mana. Okay. No, I don't think I want to drop this Hull Breacher, even for an oof. Hull Breacher, Opal made exactly a single mana chat for my Thoughtcast. It's a Leovold off the top. It's an Oko. All right, well, I have an answer for that. I'm going to go back to a 1/1 construct. If I find another land, I guess. Unfortunately, nothing is attacking through this. I don't know what I'm supposed to find here. Another Thoughtcast that I can't attack with the Hull Breacher, so none of this does anything. What are they top decking? They just keep top decking fucking bangers though. Like, come on. Top deck some garbage bug cards instead. So frustrating. I don't even have like good outs anymore. I don't know. It's so frustrating to play 8 casts because you just have no game. Even if I draw Dismember, it's not like good enough anymore. Like, does top deck Dismember do it? Like, maybe? Seat just goes away and dies? Like, I can trade off my Hull Breacher and then... Like, that's not even good. I don't know. Tinker for Sphinx? Yeah, Tinker for Sphinx, but I have to somehow pay... I guess I can stop paying at some point here. I guess I can probably... Seat's not the worst draw because it's good with Tinker. I guess what I can do is I can chump with this construct and then just try to draw Time Twister or Tinker. I guess Time Twister's not good enough because they have an emissary, but I draw Tinker for Sphinx, I guess. That might be good. I mean, the Hull Breacher's been good. It's been stopping them from librarying every turn. This is just like the two draws where they had back-to-back collector, like they had Force of Will, Lotus, Collector Oof, and then this one they had Force of Will, Oof, Energy Flux. I think I just chump with, I mean, this means that they drew a Tarmogoyf or something, this attack, right? My opponent has drawn 0 blanks. Oh my god. Okay, sure. Now I can't even win with the Tinker because I need to draw another basic island. I only have 2 more basic islands. This is so sickening. I did draw the Dismember. I don't know how much that matters. Maybe I can race or something. Decembering Leo. No, it's a May. They drew an Oko? they've they've just top decked the best cards every turn. Incredible. Incredible. This is so unplayable. Yeah, they have their entire deck is bad bug cards. This does let me race. Is their last card Ancestral? Why would you turn this off? Oh, their last card was Gush? And they have Mystic Sanctuary Gush? Okay. I mean, are you fucking kidding me? They're not a typical bug deck. They're like a bug Xerox deck. This is like a chump blocker, right? So I could play Seat Time Vault. Yeah. Slasher, this is not fun. This deck is completely not fun to play. If your opponent wants to beat you, they just easily beat you. And if they choose to ignore you, then you might kill them. Oh, I'm having such a bad time. Now they get to library, but they're pretty low life, I guess. The Hull Breachers have been very good, though. No, the Hull Breacher is the only reason we've actually been able to play. The Hull Breacher has actually been the best part of the deck besides Tinker. This has been very good. We won game 1 because we Hull Breacher Time Twistered them. We had no business winning game 1, but we had Hull Breacher, so it was fine. Not only am I playing against Bug, I'm playing against Bug Xerox. Like, it's extra tilt. I can't seat Thoughtcast. That's not a legal play. Oh my god, I actually ended up drawing into Time Twister. But they turned off my Hull Breacher with the stupid Oko. Oh. It's too sad. There's just no set of draws that gets me out of this, right? So there's like kind of no reason to Time Twister. It's probably better to go seat Thoughtcast than anything else. It was not a legal play last turn, Slasher, when I didn't have the mana to cast it. Go back to your whatever you're doing with your no playing Dredge Hate thing. I don't even think Hibernation does it. Well, Dismember fast mana doesn't actually do it because I won't be able to cast Dismember this turn, but... I have to play Seat. This is a 5 mana spell. They have to pay 4 to keep their food around to attack me. It's pretty funny. I did not have an artifact. I've been fluxed for like 70 turns. They went to 3. Can't be good for the home team. They have Gush here? They must have Force of Will Gush now. It's the only way this play makes sense. All right, so I'm going to get a Black Lotus, and I'm going to Twister, and I'm going to get a Manifold Key, and I'm going to Twister, and I'm going to hope to dismember my Collector. That's not even going to do it unless I hit a Tolarian Academy. So theoretically, If I get a key, cast a Twister, Twister resolves, I dismember Collector Oof, and I play Academy and a bunch of Moxen. No, I can't Vault Key with a Flux in play. So that doesn't work. With 2 Fluxes in play. I could maybe Vault Key with 1 Flux in play. So... Oh, I'm at 4 life? Oh, I can't even dismember anymore. Alright, well, never mind. In that case, I just want to find... I don't know. Anything, I guess. Doesn't actually matter. Nothing. I don't want to draw anything, so I guess we'll just find a Sapphire. Maybe it should have been a worse one. I'm going to play this now while I have Flusterstorm back up. I think they have Force, so I want to play this now while I have the floating mana plus Flusterstorm. Yeah, I mean, I need to counter a Force, not a Gush. Because this has to live, and then I could maybe block the Collector Oof, and then go for a Twister play or something. I don't know. Yeah, this deck is just not capable of beating hate cards. No, it's no longer an artifact. It's now a food. Okay. I didn't realize that Bug would play so many Fluxes, but hey, if you're out to beat them, then that's a good way to do it. Sure. That lets you turn it into a food, I guess. Oh, they're gonna swap. They play a Jet and swap the Hull Breaker. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. We lucked out in game 1 because we made the deck better by playing Hull Breacher Time Twister, but we couldn't win games 2 and 3 because the deck is still really bad against Collector Roof and Flux. I mean, that's kind of the whole problem with the deck is that if you run into Collector Roof, you automatically lose. So we're 3-2, and maybe we win. Maybe we don't play against Collector Roof round 3, and we go 4-2 and we top 16. But I mean, there's like a reason people have stopped playing the deck. It's because it just doesn't have enough to get you into the top 8, basically. So some X2s will make. Not many X2s, but like maybe one X2 will make top 8, and it won't be me because my breakers are very, very bad. Oh, actually, that might not even be true. Yeah, some number of X2s, but they won't be me. They'll be one of these players who are 4-1. So here we are, 6th and final round, Vintage Challenge, currently sitting at bad 3-2 breakers. So we're gonna like try to win and hope that we break her into top 16 is kind of what we're looking at doing here. Of course, the Dredge Master is 5-0 after saying that Dredge is unplayable. Ryan Yurchik. Canister again killing it. Pete Ward as always. Lots of powerful 4-1s up here. Let's see what we can do here against SO63, who last week played an interesting Dark Confidant Ragavan Deathrite Shaman deck. Let's see what they end up doing today. This hand obviously has no mana. This hand has no mana. It's so close, man. It's so close. To be fair, if my Teferi's Box was a bauble and my Hull Breacher was a bauble, this hand would play turn 1 Tinker. So this is like one of the very first hands that we've had today where if we were playing a true 8-cast list, we might have actually had a win here. Because like I would be able to put back Teferi's, I would be able to put back like one of these two and go. Sorry, I'd probably put back a bauble. I'd probably put back an Urza and go bauble Academy for 2, Soul Ring for 1, Tinker, or Time Walk and then untap and Tinker. Probably the second match. So this is definitely an instance where me playing some fun configuration is coming back to hurt me. But I don't think we've had very many times where we have been put into disadvantageous positions because of hull breacher and box changes. And we definitely have times where we won. We won because we had the hull breachers. Like, the hull breachers have definitely been good. They just do things a little differently. And the only real reason that the baubles would be super good here is because we have our One of Academy, which is kind of like a narrow hand case. So wow, top 8 of the Legacy PTQ was stacked. Yoshiwada's Killer SUV, Trunks, Arkin. Wow, wow. The big W. Oh, that wasn't Legacy? No, it was Legacy. Why are people complaining about Ragavan when the deck that's winning all these tournaments is Days Undoing? Oh no, Trunks. Good run though. Great run. Nice. What kind of beer you having? How do I ban this thing? I think it's wild to me though. Every time I look at a Legacy top 8, I'm like, this format looks awesome. How are people sad about this format? Like, the things that are winning are wild to me. Just crazy decks, like Uro decks and stuff. Like, I don't know. Looks dope. Like, this one had 2 Doomsday in the top 8, and I heard Doomsday can't even beat Ragavan, so. Like, I don't know. Like, Blue-Red Delver is a very interactive deck that's fun to play against, so I don't know. And you can just beat it if you tech for it. This is like a second time a Hull Breacher Days Undoing deck is, like, I don't know. Not seeing that much Delver in the top 8s here. I know that there's a lot of Delver being played, but Delver does not seem to be making any top 8s, so. Yeah, it kind of seems like the format is sorting itself out like it's supposed to, and people are just not giving it the light of day to do so. Like, I'm not saying Delver's a bad deck, but it doesn't seem like Delver's a broken deck to me. Like, Delver's always been the best deck in Legacy, except for like a small time where like Top Miracles was or something like that. As long as I've known Legacy, like, a Delver deck has been one of the better decks. So I think the last Legacy GP I played in was the one where I played Grixis, Deathrite Shaman Delver with Probe blind, and I started that tournament like 10-0 though. It's crazy. Well, Expressive Iteration is also in the Uro decks, isn't it? So, unfortunately, like I said, this hand doesn't have a 0-cost artifact because I have a Hull Breacher and a Teferi's Puzzle Box instead of a Bauble. So I'm just going to go and mulligan this to 5. And this hand is much better. So I'm going to just twist, I think. I'm going to put back this. And I'm going to put back this. Sorry, is that what I'm going to do? No. Yes. I'm going to put back this, and then I'm going to go Seat, Lotus, Twist with Force Backup. And that way I'm going to make up for my card disadvantage. I don't know. I have a pretty... I just think that you should let metagames settle and try to beat decks instead of just banning things that you don't like. If you instant banned a deck that people thought was broken, like, you would have banned Doomsday. Like, obviously you could still restrict Doomsday, but like, there was a point in time for a couple months where Doomsday and Vintage was just like the best deck, 55% win rate, killing it. And people wanted to, you know, including myself, I was like, well, maybe we might need to restrict this, but it just sorts itself out. people tech, people learn how to play against it better. People learn how to, how to build better for the metagame. And now Doomsday is a very balanced combo deck. It's like a 51, 52% win rate deck that is good, but only in the right hands and only in certain metagames. Like, it's happened so many times in the last 12 months playing Vintage where a deck has been the best deck in the format, 55% win rate, a lot of play, and then people adjust and they beat the deck. And then something else becomes a good deck. And there's always going to be a best deck. And for the most part, like a blue-based tempo deck is not the worst thing to have as the best deck in the format. It's much healthier than the best deck in the format being a combo deck. So, all right. So back to this game where I'm going to Time Twister and get a fresh 7 because I mulled a 5. This Slasher, Time Twister has been legitimately fantastic. Like, I think Hull Breachers and, like, you don't have to play 4 Hull Breachers, but, like, 2 Hull Breacher, 1 Time Twister might just be, like, really good in this deck. I think it makes sense to play Time Vault here over, like, Hold Up Flusterstorm. My opponent is on a random 7 cards. They did force this, which is interesting. They are also playing 8 cast. Interesting. So we'll have to see what their random 7 cards look like here. I do have a backup plan of just playing Tinker. If I draw a Moxen, I can play Tinker with Fluster. So we're in a pretty good spot, I think. I've been legitimately impressed in the last... Oh, God. They wheeled into a nice one here. Like I said, I've been legitimately impressed with the Time Twister so far, and the Hull Breachers have been fine as well. This is going to be an Urza. It's going to be a Thought Cast. That's a bold play. It's a pretty aggressive Thought Cast. Okay, so they have no blue mana, and they've used a Force of Will, and I drew an Ancestral. I have so many choices here. I can play Saga and Tinker with no Fluster. And make them have another force. I can just play Ancestral and hold open Fluster. That's got to be better. Then I don't get to play Saga, but I can Tinker next turn with Fluster back up as well. It's got to be better. If this gets countered, do I Fluster? Oh, wow, that's a good draw. Okay, well, this should be game winning. It's very unlikely they forced this if they didn't force Ancestral, so I'm going to untap with Tinker Flusterstorm, and that's a game-winning line. Time Twister has just been unreal. I mulled a 5 in this game, and I just, like, destroyed my opponent. Should get to Fairy's Puzzle Box, huh? Ugh, hitting Island off the top is not great. I want to play a Saga, but I'm going to have to go through this. Oh, wow. All right. Well, I bricked off on my Citadel, but I have double Flusterstorm. I think it shouldn't matter. Seems unlikely my opponent can kill me here. Like, the biggest way I die here is if my opponent had, like, a Time Vault on this turn and a Voltaic Key on the next turn. But there are definitely ways I die here. Kind of crazy. We did draw, like, half of our land base, though. All right, so we're playing the Mirror. 4 Hull Breachers should be unbelievably good at the Mirror. What else do we want? I mean, we don't want Flusterstorms in the Mirror, in my mind. Mystical Dispute seems good. I don't feel like I need Dismember. I feel like Hurkyl's Recall might be a play, though. I don't know. Slasher, how do you feel about the Mirror? Do you feel like Sphinx and Flusters for Dispute and Recall? Does that make sense? We should be, like I said, I think we should be very favored in the Mirror because we're playing Hull Breachers. I don't know if we should... I really do want to play this puzzle box, so I'm going to keep it in. Three is too many. Well, you don't like Fluster, right? Do you take Fluster out? Or do you keep some Fluster in? Like, Fluster I always found to be pretty bad against 8 cast, because all you really hit is Thought Cast and Counter Spells and Tinker. Which is, like, not nothing, but also not a lot. Yeah, I never owned 4 of the same Hull Breacher, unfortunately. Just gonna have to live with that one. I guess I could fix it at some point, but I think I pulled this one from a chest, and then this one was like 20 tickets cheaper or something, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna play 20 tickets to have a nicer looking Hull Breacher. So I don't know. I guess it kind of depends on if I think 2 Hercules is definitely good. I just don't know if we want to keep in Fluster, any number of Fluster. We could always bring in more Needles. Like if they're playing Emery, we can always Needle Emery because we don't have an Emery. It's kind of not unreasonable. Maybe that's like, but like a lot of these games can sometimes come down to like your Saga goes off first and you Needle their Saga kind of thing. So that's something to think about as well. Yeah, I think this looks fine. I mean, we have main deck Karn and 4 main deck Hull Breachers. We should definitely be favored in the mirror, but the mirror obviously is still like pretty volatile. So there's definitely shots for us to lose as well. I did, but I think that's more reasonable. I like my, I also didn't pay that much when I got like the power was not as expensive as it is now when I bought power. When I bought nice looking power, it was a lot more, but it was like a reasonable amount, a lot more. So my opponent probes me, so they know I have Force of Will, but I have Force of Will plus Hull Breacher backup, which is like, it's very hard for a deck, an 8-cast deck to beat this. I'm gonna go to their upkeep and slam a Hull Breacher. If they might be holding up Force Fluster, but I think that's fine. And then we can just play another Hull Breacher after using their blue mana. Oh, they have a Mystical Dispute. All right, well, I mean, I will counter your Mystical Dispute and make you have a Force. They don't have a Force? Okay, I mean, we should be very favored then. It's very hard for the 8-cast deck to play through a Hull Breacher. And we have our own Saga to match their Saga tokens, though they could Needle us after we make 1. I actually think it might be right to play some Hull Breachers, Slasher, and I actually think Time Twister is good right now, so I think I'd play Time Twister too. I don't know, I've been very happy. Very happy. Needle, interesting. So this makes a 4/4, so I can no longer attack with my Hull Breachers until I find a Manifold key. But I wonder if I'm supposed to Needle Saga after making a Saga here. No, because this is a replacement effect. The downside would be if my opponent Hercled me. I get a little bit blown out. But if they get like a top, I want to be able to Needle a top. Like, I kind of think they're going to go make a Saga, put a Needle on my Saga. But maybe that's just fine. But I kind of don't want them to have 2 Saga tokens. But then they just get a top and have a ton of mana. Yeah, I think I'm going to do this. No, I want key. So I think I'm the one who benefits more from a key. I want to get a key with my Saga, I think. I guess if they have Time Vault, it's really bad if they have key, obviously. But I don't know. I don't think playing around Time Vault here makes sense. We could definitely lose the Vault key, but I'm like very interested in getting key to make my construct unblockable. You can't make a thing because I have Needled your thing. Maybe I'm supposed to Needle key, but then they just get a top and they're like super far ahead, right? They have 5 cards in hand and I have 0. The Hull Breachers are good, but if they don't ever play draw spells, they're not that good. I'm like pretty worried. Oh, they went Lotus. That's probably a bad sign. Okay, yeah. Okay, we're gonna die. We are very dead. Oh, wait, no, my construct will be bigger, so I can kill Karn or make them chump, I guess. I mean, they could... Oh, we drew ours after. It's so sad. Now I can't get... I could get a needle and name Karn. Or get a needle and name Urza for just the spinning. I should... I might want to get something that makes mana in case they let... They're not going to let Karn die. What am I talking about? So if I attack all at Karn, they would chump the construct, block the hold reacher, and take 3 on Karn. Or they would eat the hold reacher, chump the construct, take 3 on Karn. Well, I'm trying to think if there's a way, like, if I attack all at this Karn, does the Karn die? If yes, does playing my own Karn get me anywhere? Not really, I guess. The problem is if I name Urza, they're more likely to chump Urza, eat hold reacher. I can't activate a key because there's a Karn. That's not how this works. Soul Guide Lantern, Needle, Cage, Sphinx. It doesn't look good for me no matter what happens here. Maybe I'll just Needle Urza attack with 1 construct. Maybe I'll Needle Karn attack with 1 construct. Oh, I guess they can double block with Urza if I don't attack all. I mean, I need the Karn to die. So I'm going to attack all at this Karn, I think. Do I die in the swing back? It's pretty close. It's kind of unfortunate how bad my Hull Breachers were. Like, my opponent had Karn, Urza, which are definitely the best things that are not draw spells. Pretty brutal. Maybe I shouldn't have forced the Mystic Dispute on my Hull Breacher, and I should have let the first Hull Breacher get countered. That could be true. That could definitely be true. Yeah, maybe that's a big misplay. Maybe I should have. Because I had a second Hull Breacher. I could just let the first get countered, and then I would have a force for everything else. It's like really bad because if they just let this all go, swing back at me, I can't even play my... I can't even use... I guess I don't even really need to use my own Karn. As long as it's in play, it doesn't actually matter. So maybe this incentivizes them to let the Karn go, and then the next turn I can maybe play a Karn. Okay, they are going to eat and chump. Or just eat and die. Either way, oh, so they're going to eat and chump, and Karn's going to go to 3. Yeah, I mean... That's kind of why I didn't want to name Urza with this. Thought Monitor, I still get tokens. But they do have a 2/2 flyer, so... Does make my construct bigger. But I mean, they can attack me for 12 here, and then... It's pretty bad for me. I was thinking we would have the same number of constructs because I needled Saga, but the problem was they had an Urza, so we actually didn't have the same number of constructs. Pretty brutal. Top is not a good draw. I'm just going to attack with just the construct token. It's very over, unfortunately. Don't really see it. Even if this just gets through, I don't think I'm winning. Technically, they have a not a lethal attack, but now my Hull Breacher won't even kill the kill the Karn. I don't know if like I think the only play that I like super regret is forcing the dispute. I think that was like too greedy. I kind of felt like if I resolved a Hull Breacher, no matter what, I would win. But that doesn't seem like it was the case. They forget to activate their Karn. It's good for me. So I did hit a land that lets me play spells. Unfortunately, this attack is like really bad because they can't activate the Karn because I needled the Karn. That is a true statement. That is a true statement. I forgot about that. So if I were to attack with both, they might chump and eat. And that would unlock their thought casts, but I would unlock nothing unless they didn't chump. If they didn't chump. Well, it doesn't work, right? Because if they might not double block. They could easily just chump and eat. The Karn survives, and then they have an unleashed Thoughtcast mana. But chump and eat might be good enough anyways. I don't know. Chump and eat might be good enough because if they chump and eat, then I still have a bigger construct token than they do. And if they decide to let Karn go, I Karn them. I mean, then my Karn dies, so maybe that's actually not good. I can't get anything that's good. I can't even use my Karn because I have a needle. All right, this actually is just bad. Ugh. I could draw Hercules, but I can't cast Hercules. It's interesting that the Thought Monitor that they played to block, which makes sense, also made my construct so big. Wait. How did I... Stop. I think they F6 through their turn. All right, well, I'm going to play this out. It's now a 10-10. If I can get my thing to be bigger than theirs, it'd be good. Oh, they untapped Time Vault. That is probably bad for me. I didn't realize it was my turn until... Okay, so they're going to take 2 turns here. I mean, their attacks are still bad. I think that this Needle on Karn was very good. They have so much mana now. They can play a second Urza if they have it. Nothing? The game continues. Tinker. Could be good if I draw an Academy. Again, this attack just looks very bad to me, so I'm going to not attack. Are they going to skip again? No. I mean, this Hull Breacher is probably stopping my opponent's entire hand of draw spells, or my opponent has a bunch of forces. I know, that's why I was so all in on keeping my Breacher alive, is the reason that, you know, because it's just so good against their deck. Saga. Okay, I mean, this lets me draw a Saga to play Tinker, even though it's on a clock. No, Breacher is a me tech, not a normal card to see. Are they going to untap? The Saga's not good because I only have it for 1 or 2 turns. Okay, so they did untap. So if I can draw an island or a Saga, I can play Tinker or an Academy or a Hull Breacher. Unfortunate. Okay. This is such a weird game. So now they have 2 Time Vault turns. I can't use my Saga anyways because I have it turned off by my own Needle. They're almost bigger than my construct though, which is not good. The minute that these get bigger, as big as my construct, everything goes to shit. Like, they could play... The thing is, they can't, like, play a Thought Monitor because it gives me 2, which is funny. I took out Sphinx, so I can't even, like, tinker for a Sphinx. I would probably have to tinker for a Citadel and hope to hit Recall Hercules. All right, mana? Or sorry, I should rephrase that. I should say an island or a saga or an academy. I drew a Seat of the Cyanod. Yeah. So now I just turned off drawing Hercules Recall because I didn't draw it during the time that I had Saga. I could have chosen not to do that, but I'm gonna go get a key. I'll play a Seat. I have a 12/12 again. Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's something to be said about not playing Saga until I know I have enough mana, but all right, they skipped their turn, so I still Academy is my best draw. Mental Misstep. Don't think that's a good one. So now they're gonna take 2 turns again. Okay. Imagine if I had a Karn in play and no one could play anything. All right, well, that was actually really good. My opponent probably has a hard cast Force of Will here, but... Oh, they have the Fluster, sure. I had to hit this top, I think, but it was pretty unlikely to resolve. My opponent either has all draw spells or all counters, and they could easily have all counters. I think Academy would be game winning, which is nice, but... They have one more turn here, I think. Yeah. Saga, but at least it's turned off. It will make these things 11/11s after, though. I drew the Citadel. That's got to be the single worst draw in my deck. Okay, now I'm not so confident of winning. I guess I could tinker for Teferi's Puzzle Box. Doesn't Saga get key? Yeah, Saga does get key. You're right. Oh, they got a Fluster. All right, I need to draw Academy this turn so I can play Karn. Academy... Force. All right, I'm just going to send these both at Karn because I'm going to lose the game next turn anyways. And they can just chump and eat. And then we're going to lose the Vault Key. All right. Unfortunate. The whole... I think the game did... I think I did blow the game by forcing the dispute on my first Hull Breacher. It just made so much sense to do so, but I think it ended up costing me. Looks like they kept in Flusterstorm. I don't know, I still don't really like that very much. Let's just run it back. I think Misstep is, yeah, I think Misstep is good enough. The 1-drops that you hit are very strong. Man. I think I'm supposed to keep this and just try to hit a Moxen or land on my first draw. How bad is that? 12. That's not good enough. It's only 18. That's unfortunate. Try again. This one is so bad. I've just had so many bad hands today. No good. No shot. Well, we won game 1 by mulling to 5 and time twistering our opponent. Maybe we can do that again. Again, we could always just hit fast mana into Hold Reacher, which should buy us a lot of time. So there's some play here. If this hand just had an Urza Saga, it'd be much better, because then I could just go Urza Saga, Soul Ring, key. Oh, wait, never mind. It wouldn't be better because the key is in my hand. I guess I put the key back. Even a Saga, even just having like Saga Force is probably not good enough. Probably better to mulligan anyways. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we should mulligan less. We had a lot of hands today that had no mana. All right, my opponent kept their 7 on the draw, and I'm on the 5 on the play. And again, I have a hand with no blue mana. Again, I have a hand with no blue mana. I will go to 4. And this is a great hand on 4. It's really funny how broken the London Mulligan is. Because if the London Mulligan wasn't here, I would have a hand that was another unkeepable hand. But now that the London Mulligan's here, I just have an insane hand, right? I bottom this. I think I bottom this and the island, and I just play everything out and tinker with a land drop to give and hope it works. This plays in badly into misstep. So I could instead get rid of Mana Vault, Opal, Narset, and keep a Hercules Recall. Or I could get rid of Hercules Recall, Mana Vault, Opal, and keep a Narset, which will be very far away from casting. Interesting. Is exposing myself to... I can just sack the... No, it sounds worse. Because if I do Mana Crypt, Mana Vault, Opal, Tinker, and it gets countered, I will have Mana Crypt, Opal, and no blue mana. But I will have more things for Thoughtcast. Yeah, I'm going to go all in, and that's fine. All right, so if my opponent has a force, they win. If they don't have a force, they probably lose. If they have a misstep for this vault, they probably win. They didn't. London Mulligan. Nope, they had a force. All right, well, it was a tough match. I mulled a 4, had a great hand, and they had a force, so not much I can do. They have a fetch land in their deck? That's interesting. So now we need to draw an artifact into a Thoughtcast. That's not a bad one, if I can draw an artifact or an island. Gonna fetch before even looking. Kind of bold, I think. Wait, they have an Underground Sea? I thought we were on the mirror. Maybe they're just playing Blue-Black Saga. Oh, they just have Tinker. Like they just had Force of Will Tinker in their 7-card hand. Yeah, I mean, whatever. I hate Tinker Mirrors so much. They're so dumb. It's actually really sad because... So I fucked up. If I had not taken Mana Vault, I would have... If I had not taken Opal, I would have won. Right? So if I had gone Mana Crypt, Mana Vault, Island, and I got my countered, then I could untap with Mana Crypt, Hullbreacher, and play Hullbreacher. That's so crazy. I still think that I like the idea of not using my land drop, though, and just going all in. So... Yeah, I wanted the land drop because I didn't trust a Citadel to win. I don't know. Like, I don't think I'm going to win most games where I get my thing countered, so I might as well make it the best it can be. So we are on the mirror, but they're playing blue-black. Yeah, I didn't know about Hull Breacher, obviously. So it is the mirror, but they just have fetch lands and seas. Interesting. Can't say I think that's very good. They did go down to 2 here. Doesn't think it matters. There's like no counterplay, right? It's pretty funny. If I had taken Island, I would have gone Hold Breacher and then untap and Twisted. Oh, it's too funny. If I had kept Hercules, I would have bounced their Citadel. I think my line makes the most sense, but it's kind of frustrating that I think I would have won if I had taken any of the other choices I thought about. Well, that's not true, because any of the ones where I sack Mana Crypt are bad. I have to keep Mana Crypt and Vault so that I can sack Vault and then hold Mana Crypt and Island. So if I kept any of the ones that were just Mana Crypt, that would not have worked. So actually, that means I don't think I could have kept... I would have had to put back Hercules, Narset, and Opal. And so I wouldn't have had Hercules. I would have only... But I would have had Hull Breacher into Twister, which is funny to me. Oh, Moldifor. I mean, my Moldifor was like the best I can get, so not much to do there. Draw cards difference. I hate Teferi's puzzle box. Cute. All right, so we did not hit 4-2. We actually hit 3-3, and we might... let's see. Will we top 32 this at 3-3? Hopefully. Should be close. No. So we already went over why the island line is not better. Because I don't believe I can win any game where Tinker gets countered. I have no confidence of winning any game where Tinker gets countered. So I might as well not play the island so that I can have a better Citadel if Tinker resolves. So I don't think island line is better. And the island line is only better if you use Mana Vault and Mana Crypt, which I don't think I thought about at all. All my island lines were only keeping Mana Crypt, so... Anyways, this is the deck we played. Obviously, you don't want to play Teferi's Puzzle Box, but I do think that you could maybe play like 2 Hold Breachers and a Time Twister, and then you go like Mana Vault out, put some Baubles back in or something. Actually, the Mana Vault was fine, so maybe you keep the Vault in for the Hold Breachers, and you play like Bauble, Vault, Bauble, Emery or something. Or maybe you play, Fluster or Seagate. Kind of seems interesting to me. I do think that the Hull Breachers were good, and I do think that Time Twister was good. I think I want to be including Time Twister in more of my decks if the format keeps staying this way. If the format is not like Pyroblast heavy, I actually think Time Twister is fine. Obviously, it's not super good against like Vigor, but having an extra power piece is kind of reasonable, and I was pretty happy with Time Twister today. As always, I don't recommend playing 8-cast. I think the deck is not very good. Can't really beat a oof, and so you're just forfeiting like 1 to 3 matches every challenge, and then you are typically favored to beat blue decks, but you don't always win. Like you can lose the mirror because the mirror is the mirror, and it's just all about who has the more powerful hand. So as always, I recommend you don't play this deck. If you want to play something like this, I think PO is a much better option. Even playing like the Saga PO with repeals, I think is a better option if you want to play a Saga blue deck. It just allows you to play better against hate. This deck is too all in and folds too many cards, which is what I've been saying this whole time anyways, so it's not something you haven't heard. I just kind of wanted to play Hull Breacher and Teferi's Puzzle Box and Time Twister today, and this seemed like a pretty decent shell to do it in. And I think that, for the most part, held true. We had a lot of mana, so we played a lot of early Hull Breachers. We didn't end up getting to use our Puzzle Box, but our Time Twister was quite good, and we got to do some fun things with it. So all was not lost. It was a pretty decent stream, all things considered. We got to do some pretty cool stuff. If you made it to the end of this video on YouTube, make sure that you're subscribed to my channel. Half of you aren't. What are you waiting for? It's free and helps you grow the community, which I would appreciate. I'll catch you in the next vintage video.